is CTV News.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Windsor police are releasing new surveillance footage of two people wanted for a recent theft. CTV's Melanie Kentner explains in this month's Crime Stoppers report.
Yeah, we're at Rio and Park on Riverside Drive. Now, what can you tell us about the recent break-ins in the area?
Well, the Windsor Police Service are investigating a report of a break-and-enter on Saturday, the 30th of May, shortly after 9:30 p.m., where two suspects broke into two apartment units within the 4700 block of Riverside Drive.
And what was stolen?
What was stolen was jewelry, silverware, and clothing.
And what can you tell us about the video that you have?
Well, what we have is a video of one suspect managed to breach or gain access into the restricted area of the apartment building and used a fire escape to allow the second suspect into the building.
What do you know about the suspects? What descriptions do you have?
Well, both suspects appear to be middle-aged. One suspect is thinner. He has a gray golf shirt, an Adidas hat, and a satchel across the side. The other suspect had a hoodie along with a poncho hat.
What can people do to protect themselves from something like this from happening?
Well, the traditional means of security, such as enhancing the entry or your door, but also not to allow access to anybody within the restricted area of the apartment building. But nowadays, with smart technology, you can make your apartment look like it's occupied by activating lights, televisions, things like that, remotely from your phone, but also with security cameras and videos where now they're relatively inexpensive and they can be operated wirelessly, and even that is a deterrence. Once suspects see those images, they'll move on to the next area to break into.
Some great tips there. And of course, if anybody has information, how can they contact you?
Well, if you want to remain anonymous and if you help police identify any one of these two suspects, you can call us at Crime Stoppers 1-800-22-TIPS or online at catchcrooks.com.
Great. Thanks, Rick. And that's your Crime Stoppers report.
Police have now laid charges against a suspect involved in that standoff we told you about yesterday.
So with the police tactical unit, you're under arrest. The residence is surrounded.
Around 7:30 a.m., police say the suspect chased people with a butcher knife before barricading himself in a residence when police arrived. During that time, police say the suspect broke into his roommate's room, damaged the door and the roommate's property. After 5 hours, the suspect tried to leave through the back door, but he was arrested after a brief struggle. A 26-year-old is facing 6 charges, including assault with a weapon and possession of a dangerous weapon. That fire yesterday afternoon caused $400,000 in damage to a commercial business on Lausanne Road, Tecumseh Road rather, near Lausanne. Fire Chief Jamie Wassel says it was an accident caused by roofers working near an HVAC system. A man is in hospital with life-threatening injuries tonight after being struck by a car in Chatham, Kent. Police say it happened yesterday on Longwoods Road. The victim was airlifted to London with what are described as significant injuries. The health unit does not recommend swimming at 5 local beaches this weekend. The water testing came back less than ideal at Cedar, Cedar Island, Holiday, Lakeshore, and Seacliff beaches. Swimming does, however, get the green light at Colchester and Point Pelee Northwest beaches. So with summer upon us, Lakeshore is rolling out a beach bus on weekends and holiday Mondays. As CTV's Chris Campbell reports, the idea is meant to make the beach in Bell River safer and more fun for everyone.
Beginning Saturday, the free beach bus will shuttle visitors between the Atlas Tube Recreation Center and the waterfront every Saturday, Sunday, and holiday Monday throughout the summer.
You know what? We listen to our residents, and we also have seen a massive increase down this way. You know, we want to make sure that not only the residents close by are safe, they can move in and out of their homes with no issue, but also for our residents outside of Bell River within the municipality of Lakeshore, that they have different options to come and check out our great spaces.
The pilot project is designed to reduce parking pressure while giving officials a chance to gauge demand and gather feedback. For many beachgoers, avoiding the weekend crowds has become routine.
We don't usually come on the weekends because it really does get really busy, so it's generally during the week that we'll come and enjoy it.
Every time we come on the weekend, sometimes there's no parking. So the shuttle bus would be great for, people coming to the beach.
It's going to help the situation for sure.
Even lifelong Belle River residents like Helen Best say the popularity of the waterfront has changed her habits.
It is so busy. The residents of Belle River don't get to use the park at all.
Along with the new shuttle, Lakeshore is increasing bylaw patrols.
We will be out, educating our residents and visitors alike on a parks bylaw and on the parking bylaw.
Focusing on illegal parking, smoking and vaping, barbecues, which are now banned, and motorized vehicles in the park.
It is a beautiful destination, and our job is to make sure we keep it safe for residents and visitors to come and enjoy.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
That brings us to our question of the day. Do you go to local beaches? Go to our website to cast your vote, ctvnewswindsor.ca. Yesterday, we asked if you're following Team Canada in the FIFA World Cup. Out of 700 votes, 67% said no. In Amherstburg, a group of residents are upset with trees being cut down. As Bob Belichico reports, one condo owner says it's the final straw in a long list of concerns.
5 mature trees that once lined Victoria Gardens in Amherstburg have been cut down, leaving behind bare stumps and growing frustration among some residents who feel the trees were healthy and should have been left alone.
Well, they're supposed to give us 35 days warning over anything over $1,000, according to the condominium authority. They gave us less than a week.
Residents received a notice on June 14th that tree work would be taking place. By Wednesday, residents say several healthy 60-year-old trees had been removed. One of them stood just outside of Jessica Cockrum's backyard. She said it provided shade, flowers, and a daily gathering place for birds her young son loved to feed.
And that's what they did over here. They planted brand new trees because one was also cut over there. So we thought that was going to be the same case, but we haven't heard anything about it.
She hopes the stumps are removed and new trees will be planted in their place. Now, a representative of the Huron Shores Property Management Group told CTV News they follow a process used at all of their properties. The company says recommendations from arborists, engineers, and residents are considered before the property board makes a final decision. No board members were available for comment today. No more tree. All that's left is a tree stump. Residents I spoke with are already missing their shade after a couple of days. They're also worried about the cost of air conditioning in the summer with the sun beating down on their place. But that's not the only cost they're worried about.
We're trying to stop the pattern of being overcharged and hopefully get reimbursed for some of the things that we did not want.
Longtime resident Peter Miles explains improvements to the building's siding and parking lot has been done in recent years, leading to bills of over $4,000 for residents.
They're not doing basic maintenance, and they're doing huge projects like this at our expense.
Miles has launched a petition and says he plans to bring their concerns to the corporation's annual meeting scheduled for July 29th.
I think with this petition, we're going to have a higher turnout than in previous years, but I think some things are going to be changed and some answers demanded of.
Bob Belichico, CTV News.
A petition, meantime, in the county of Essex was not successful. 250 people signed the petition asking the county to let residents opt out of the green bin composting program. Council accepted the petition, but the program will remain status quo. Back in March, County Council decided to use user fees to pay for the program. So in 2026, Essex taxpayers will pay $186, Lakeshore and LaSalle $188, Tecumseh's charge will be $183.64. The fees cover the costs of collecting and processing, plus contractual obligations and program administration. Amherstburg, Kingsville, and Leamington will begin receiving this service in the fall. A warning to drivers who use the east end of EC Row Expressway where it intersects with Banwell. Banwell Road will be closed between EC Row Expressway and the Nexstar plant starting on Monday at 7 a.m. until June 23rd at 8 o'clock at night. A second closure will follow from Intersection Road to Shield Street until June 26th. Officials say the work is needed to complete a traffic switchover to a new road realignment. Detour routes will be posted along nearby major roads. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. And the court ruled today in the sexual assault case against Frank Stronach. The decision later in our newscast. As promised, CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald joins me now with a look at the weather after what was a beautiful June day.
It was gorgeous today. You're right about that, Michelle. I think there's a possibility we will see a beautiful morning Saturday. It's the afternoon I'm concerned about. Maybe even some thunderstorm activity, say around 4 or 5 p.m. Embedded showers, I think, a really good possibility, but convective energy is also part of the story as well. More on that just one. Today was a seasonal day. We expect mid-20s for a daytime high. Lows in the mid-teens. That's what we expect as we move through this weekend. And Father's Day is Sunday, so a lot of people concerned because hopefully you'll be able to go outside with dad and family and friends and enjoy these comfortable conditions. In terms of temperatures, not much to speak of because humidity values have been relatively low. So it's been comfortable. I'm not talking about humidex values in the 30s or near 40. The scattered shower potential is coming from 2 successive waves coming together over Lake Michigan, moving from west to east right across the state of Michigan into southern Ontario. It's been windy. The winds die down through the overnight, pick up again by the time most of us are up and around Saturday morning, say 8, 9, 10 a.m. We'll see increasing cloudiness through the latter stage of the morning into the early afternoon. And I think there's a chance not just of showers, but if we do see thunderstorm activity, say around 4, 5, 6 p.m., it's likely more in that Chatham-Kent, northeast towards London area, that stretch, and maybe a little bit further east from there. For Windsor, Essex, Chatham, Kent combined, temperatures are still seasonal for the weekend. The overnight projection, by the way, average temperature at this time of the year about 15. We're just slightly below that mark at 13, mostly cloudy, and we get a break from the breeziness, the gustiness of late. It's light breeze between midnight and, say, 5 a.m. So cool-ish, but seasonally cool through the overnight, and then warming up to mid-20s for the weekend. Both days look great, comfortable temperature-wise. Even the humidex at 27 is still not sultry for Saturday afternoon. But there's a 60% chance of at least an occurrence, an occurrence, maybe more, and maybe some thunderstorm activity. Sunday looks so much better for Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, dads, because you're looking at a fair weather day, lots of sunshine, 24. Showers, unfortunately, on Fireworks Day, could be through the early evening. Let's hope not. And then more showers through the midweek. Temperatures still in the mid-20s expected. Michelle?
In news around the world tonight, it seems to be one step forward and seemingly one step back in the Middle East. Face-to-face negotiations between the U.S. and Iran were supposed to start in Switzerland, but that has been postponed. Meantime, the Iran-backed militant group Hezbollah and Israel have agreed to a ceasefire hours after trading deadly strikes. ABC's Olivia Rubin breaks it down for us.
After deadly Israeli strikes overnight in Lebanon, today a potential breakthrough. Israel and Hezbollah agreeing to a new ceasefire. According to a U.S. official, it's a key part of the new 60-day deal between the U.S. and Iran, which calls for peace around the region. Israel not part of the drafting of that deal. Secretary of State Marco Rubio spoke with the Lebanese president today, who, according to the State Department, said disarming Hezbollah and reestablishing control over all Lebanese territory are priorities. In an interview with Axios today, President Trump discussing his relationship with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
It's good, but we have to keep him a little bit sane.
Negotiations for further agreements between the U.S. and Iran were supposed to start today in Switzerland, but Vice President J.D. Vance didn't go. Those talks called off at the last minute. A spokesperson for Iran's Ministry of Foreign Affairs saying the memo was signed, but there was no urgent need to meet, though plans are being made for a meeting in the coming days. President Trump today saying this.
We have an agreement that was signed last night. And it's 60 days. They have to make a deal. Otherwise, we will do things that won't make them happy. But I don't think it's going to get to that. I think it's going to be very good.
Back at home, some within the president's own party slamming the deal he made with Iran, which lifts all sanctions and could let them rake in billions of dollars.
Giving billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us is an exceptionally bad idea.
And new questions about what the U.S. is getting in return here. Iran in the deal not committing to destroying its nuclear stockpile, just agreeing to negotiate it over the next 60 days. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, New York.
In London, England, at least one person has died after a crash between two passenger trains. Video from the scene shows the trains stopped on the tracks, and you can see emergency workers in the field on the side. One passenger told the BBC it felt like a bomb had exploded. Officials said a number of people were injured. It's not clear what happened. A legendary director behind some of the best-known comedies on TV has died.
Afternoon, everybody. Norm! How you doing, Norm? What do you know? Not enough.
James Burrows was a director and co-creator of Cheers, and over his career directed over 1,000 episodes of classic programs like Taxi, Friends, and Will and Grace. In a statement, his family says he understood great comedy was about, quote, humanity, connection, and truth. James Burrows was 85 years old. On the markets, the TSX fell 112 points. American stock and commodity markets were closed for the Juneteenth holiday. On currency markets, the Canadian dollar lost a fifth of a cent.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Canadian billionaire Frank Stronach has been found guilty of sexual assault. The auto parts businessman who holds the Order of Canada was convicted for assaulting two women decades ago. CTV's John Woodward has been following the trial.
Canadian billionaire Frank Stronach left Toronto Superior Court Friday as a convicted criminal. The 93-year-old founder of an auto parts empire that turned him into one of Canada's richest men was found guilty of sexual assault for groping a waitress at a restaurant he used to own in the early 80s, and one count of indecent assault for pushing his groin into another woman in his apartment in 1977.
Well, I know that these historic sexual assault charges are incredibly difficult to prosecute. So it's a great relief that two of the charges survived the attacks on the integrity and the memories of the 7 complainants.
Stronach could face 12 counts, some where he was accused of using his money, power, and leadership position at Magna International to find women for sex, including this woman, one of the horse trainers on his expansive property north of Toronto.
He wasn't my employer anymore. He was my abductor. He was my rapist.
But as the trial went on, the charges were whittled down. The justice didn't find the woman who made the rape allegation credible, saying there were too many uncertainties about the incident alleged by the woman for me to be satisfied beyond a reasonable doubt as to Mr. Stronach's guilt of the violent rape she described.
Take the time to read her Honor's decision very carefully.
His lawyer urging reporters to consider the difference between what was alleged and what Stronach was convicted of.
And we'll take the time, digest the decision, and ask for what we think is the most appropriate sentence in the circumstance of offenses that happened in 1977 and an offense that happened in 1983.
The conviction amounts to a remarkable fall from grace for one of Canada's richest men and will trigger a review of his Order of Canada. And Stronach isn't done at court. He will also face a sentencing hearing, at least one civil suit, and another set of similar charges to be heard at a separate trial. John Woodward, CTV News, Toronto.
A new poll from Liaison Strategies finds the Ontario Liberals are building momentum. This comes after the Premier got into a battle with another polling firm earlier this week. CTV's Siobhan Morris reports.
He's the face of the Ontario government and the Progressive Conservative Party.
But public opinion polling reveals more trouble for Doug Ford's personal brand.
We're really seeing that number take a bit of a beating.
In a survey of 1,000 Ontarians last week, Liaison Strategies found support for the Premier at just 26%. 69% disapprove of the job he's doing, and 66% of those asked believe Ontario is headed in the wrong direction.
I think to a certain extent it's death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
The government's been in place for so long, it's accumulated a lot of baggage.
The government's purchase and return of a $30 million jet is still circling in the minds of Ontarians, something captured by pollster Angus Reid earlier this week. It puts support for Ford at just 21%, the lowest point since he became Premier.
I love this Angus Reid. They put this fake poll out.
Accusing the nonprofit firm of sampling from opposition caucuses and ridings.
The truth of the matter is we'd form a massive majority if the election was held today. For the fourth time. Good to see you.
The president of Angus Reid says she stands by their record of independent, nonpartisan research and has sent a legal letter to the Premier telling CTV News, "We do not intend to litigate this issue in the media, but we do believe the public record should be corrected." The Premier's office has not responded to our request for a response.
His comments are delusional.
It sounds a lot like Donald Trump.
The interim Liberal leader doesn't think this week's numbers are a surprise to Ontarians.
The things that they count on, like their hospitals, their schools, their health care, having a family doctor, life being affordable, it's just not there.
The head of the NDP says the Premier should learn a lesson from these polls to listen to regular people instead of friends.
It's the people who he's building the giant parking garages for. It's the people that he's trying to please by, allowing jets to land at the island airport.
The brands of all the major parties will be tested with 2 provincial by-elections in the coming months. In Scarborough Southwest, that's typically an NDP riding, and in York Simcoe, where PCs have dominated. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News. Canada's Wonderland is launching a different way to pay for entry into the theme park. Visitors heading to Wonderland sometimes get a season pass if they're planning to go to the park more than once during the summer. That's because the cost of a single-day ticket is $45 when bought online. But season passes are sold out on the Canada's Wonderland website. Instead, the park has now launched a membership option that would see customers charged $9 a month year-round, with other conditions applying. Park owner Six Flags said it hopes the switch offers a more budget-friendly way for guests to visit. If you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, Ribfest is on in Amherstburg. Ramsey Street between Richmond and Murray is closed down this weekend, with the parking lot behind Richmond businesses turned into an entertainment venue. The event is running alongside open-air weekends in Amherstburg, showcasing local businesses.
What's your favorite type of rib sauce? The dinosaur?
Dinosaur.
The dinosaur rib sauce, yeah.
How exciting is it to have it here in Amherstburg every year?
It's great. It brings the community together. It brings more people to Amherstburg. It's such a beautiful town, and we love to see people come together in events like this for sure. Yeah.
And joining me one last time with the Father's Day weekend forecast, here's CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald.
Michelle, I'm hopeful. I really think that Sunday works out beautifully. Saturday afternoon, not so much. And then Monday, looking at the calendar ahead, fireworks. I think the rains happen, for the most part, heavy at times during the late morning, early afternoon, which means that gives us a window of opportunity for fireworks later that night being dry. Let's hope for that. Again, temperatures, mid-20s. Seasonal, beautiful, comfortable for the weekend, especially on Sunday. Rain Monday down to 22, and then temperatures in the low to mid-20s Tuesday through to Friday next week. Showers through the midweek are a possibility. It's going to be a cloudy week next week, so enjoy the sunshine on Sunday. Michelle?
Thanks so much, Gary. Well, hopefully that forecast improves just a little bit before Monday, because it is the most anticipated day of the summer, fireworks night. With everything you need to know to have a fun time, here's our Travis Fortnum.
One of Windsor's biggest nights of the year is almost here, and with huge crowds expected along the riverfront, officials are urging people to plan ahead.
It is going to be a very busy night downtown, but we're looking forward to it.
Thousands of people flock to the core each year to watch the show, which makes it one of the busiest nights of the summer for Windsor Police.
Fireworks night has always been one of those nights where it's all hands on deck. We have, as I said, all of our patrol officers, specialty units, all officers, auxiliary officers will be out.
Police recommend taking a photo of your children before leaving home and picking a meeting spot in case family members get separated in the crowd. Officers are also reminding people that many downtown streets will close at 6 p.m., with vehicles left in restricted areas subject to ticketing and towing. If you'd rather skip the traffic, Transit Windsor is once again offering free service after 6 p.m., including shuttles between Devonshire Mall and downtown, thanks to a partnership with Zehrs.
It's one of our biggest nights of the year downtown, and the fact that the community could come down there on Transit Windsor free of charge, get the kids in there, come downtown, have a great time, enjoy a great show.
And it's not just people who may need a little extra planning. It can be a stressful night for pets, too. Veterinarians at Cornell University say if your dog or cat isn't a fan of fireworks, keep them indoors, close the windows and curtains, and try using a television or radio to help mask some of the noise. They also recommend setting up a quiet space where your pet feels safe. If your pet starts trembling, pacing, hiding, or drooling, those could be signs the fireworks are causing distress. As for everyone else, police say a little preparation can go a long way.
Come on out, make a plan well ahead of time, and enjoy the fireworks.
Travis Fortnum, CTV News.
That's all the time we have for now. Thank you so much for joining us this week and supporting local news. To all the dads here at CTV News Windsor and all the dads out there, I hope you are spoiled this Sunday and you have a wonderful weekend. Happy Father's Day.